Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Khorne, led by Walnuts Aren't Tree Nuts, facing off against Snickerdoodle here, and it is going to be the classic Nurgle vs. Khorne showdown. So let's break down the armies and have some fun. So for the Khorne 8 forces in the front line here, it is going to be Marauders of Khorne, which of course are totally fine. Going to trade relatively evenly with the Marauders of Nurgle. That would actually be an interesting video to do, kind of see which of the Marauders wins in the duelist situation. But big heavy hitters here. It is going to be Slaughter Guard. So these guys in theory have a lot of good tools against Nurgle. Magic damage against demons, anti-large against, I guess, Battletoads, I guess. Fire damage as well is very relevant to mitigate healing. Huge armor piercing values. And what's really cool about them is they do have the unyielding assault, which means their melee attack can never be reduced. So some of the debuffs and various tricks that Nurgle has will not work on these bad boys. So very eager to see how they do. Granted, going to be weak potentially against Noxbringer. Now, Skulltaker is incredibly meta. On his motorcycle, he is one of the strongest, honestly, characters in the game. Because normally chariot characters aren't good against big targets, but this guy has such high melee attack on his chariot and also just tons of crazy abilities. He gets armor, leadership, and melee attack. I believe he also heals from the Gore Feast, so which is good against most things, really. He can fight big boys, he can fight small targets, you name it. A couple Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, and that's going to be it for the Khorne 8 army. Now for Nurgle, it's going to be Horsemen of their own, which is very good, and this is extremely solid here. Bringing out the Noxbringer to counter the Khorne 8 Skirmishers. You can see one shot on the Khorne Skirmishers here, able to bring down quite a bit of HP, but more importantly, drain their ammunition, which is the biggest counter to Nurgle, because if Nurgle can get away with using its Mortis engines, Great Unclean Ones, you know, whatever, big threat pieces, without throwing axes tearing them down, like Tamarkon, for example, it can be very, very strong. So we do have Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, as well as a couple Marauders in the front. So yeah, the idea is, you know, Noxbringer kills the Horsemen, Tamarkon then bullies the rest of the army pretty effectively, right? Toe Dragon Tamarkon is actually a very, very strong fighter. So in the back, it's going to be a Skull Cannon called in. Skull Cannon, not bad against Nurgle, can definitely shoot at the Chaos Warriors to a decent effect. Khorne is going to be grabbing objectives 2 and 1, and objective number 3 here is going to be sitting in the clutches of Nurgle. So really just, yeah, Noxbringer rotating between the various Horseman units. You have to make sure to use all of your ammo on those targets until they're nullified, right? Because Nurgle doesn't really have great answers otherwise. And all it needs is one tickling shot. It's not even really about the damage as much as it is draining the ammunition from the Cloud of Erosion ability. All right. So Tamarkon using his Vomit, a little bit of a mistake there considering the Slaughter Guard are on their way in. Granted, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle with great weapons can fight Slaughter Guard with relative efficiency, and Tamarkon, as long as he doesn't get stuck in them, although that was a really aggro charge there, he's going to want to be careful and not get chopped up in those halberds. In the meantime, retreating back are the Marauder Horsemen being chased down by Skulltaker, and now we get Angels of Decay coming out, which is a good choice against the Skulltaker. Certainly going to be very menacing, but Tamarkon does get a little bit overextended here into the Slaughter Guard, is going to want to retreat right now. And once again, the good old Noxbringer just carrying the heavy load here, really doing a lot of damage against these guys. But Khorne Skull Cannon, what is it going to be shooting? Is it going to be shooting at Tammy? Not a terrible idea. Yes, use Tamarkon away from the halberds, and here Tamarkon is able to feast and really, really just wreck a lot of these guys. Toe Dragons are hands down one of the coolest things in the game. Look at that absolute pimp up there. But able to rip up those Marauders. Currently, they're going to be getting wrecked. 62 models here and 78 right here. But Khorne is going to be having a good fight in the middle, right? So here we do see Walnuts is going to be getting the Slaughter Guard. They're going to be getting sauced up to 71 melee attack by the frickin' Skulltaker. And Skulltaker doesn't really care about basic damage like this. He's just going to be able to heal. But he just needs to watch out for the Angels of Decay. So probably for Khorne, using the Skull Cannon to shoot the Angels of Decay would be the play. That's going to be a really, really nice Vomit right there. Oh, did he just get staggered? So he was going for his throw-up attack, and then he got blasted in the face? That was actually a really cool shot right there. So Khorne Gore is on their way in, and the Vomit attack is activated. It does tickle the Skulltaker and does a little bit of damage here, but oh, we don't want to charge into those guys. That's going to be a lot of damage on old Tammy here. So Tamarkon is sitting now at 8,300, but if he stays in those halberds for a moment, his HP is going to start dropping very, very quickly. Now, if you go Tamarkon, you have to bring a Life Caster or a Nurgle Caster, and it is going to be a Nurgle Caster with Fleshy Abundance and Curse of the Leper, so very, very meta. Obviously, the armor and the melee defense are nice from that, but more importantly, it's about damage reflection against Slaughter Guards. That's one thing that's kind of cool here from Walnuts is he didn't mess with the Slaughter Guard. Granted, I think they're still S tier in this matchup. Really, really tough to deal with. Skull Cannon is shooting at Tamarkon, and the Angels of Decay, what are they feasting on? It looks like they are going after the Skulltaker. At this range, they might have some trouble hitting him. He's a little bit far away there, and flying across are the Angels of Decay, but now they're going to be harried by the Fury. So what you would do as the Nurgle player is you would use the Fleshy Abundance on the Angels of Decay right now, which he does. Perfect. So that's going to give them the armor, 100 armor now, so they're very tanky, and they reflect the damage of the Khorne 8 Furies, and they easily win that fight. So very good stuff from Snickerdoodle. Honestly, super textbook. The build seems pretty similar to the one I use. I know Noxbringer and Tamarkon is kind of my way as well, but I think his infantry composition was a little bit different than what I usually use, but honestly seems pretty badass. So objectives, though, are owned by Khorne, and Khorne is going to be cackling on the points. But eventually Tammy, if he's left to his own devices, might be able to break things open. One unit of Fury is going to be ripped up here as Nurgle is calling in Pestigors. So the dreaded Plague Goats have arrived. They do have their great weapons in. They're going to be bonking some of these bad boys down and getting the job done. But Khorne is able to win the infantry fight because of Slaughter Guard, right? So Slaughter Guard were able to bully the Chaos Warriors as well as the baseline Marauder. So going to be very tough for old Nurgle to claw their way back into this one. On the backside, Pestigors are being called in, a decent trading tool against Slaughter Guard and okay against Khorne. Angels of Decay are, you know, not almost out of ammo, but they're getting a little bit close. Definitely just need to put all of your ammo probably into one target to really make sure you finish something off and don't spread the damage too much. Really good breath attack there by Tamarkon. That's nice. Going to be hitting the Slaughter Guard right in the face as another wave of Pestigors comes in. Nurgle fighting on the flanks here, trying to contest this. And yeah, that's good value. Getting the Skull Cannon down, which has accrued only 400 value. No, that was the Khorne. Skull Cannon's on Silver Chevron. That must have been like something before the game to give it accuracy. Yeah, it looks like he put chevrons on it to increase its accuracy, which is kind of an interesting tech. Pestigor is going to be contesting the outside, moving up towards Objective 1. Khorne is not going to be responding there. Rather, they're going to be pulling in the dreaded Bloodwake Berserkers. Let's go. The big scaries are here, but Tamarkon is still alive, and Tamarkon is going to be able to put some work in against them. How's he doing here? Yeah, there are Khorne attacking Tammy. Tammy is going to be getting the Black Cleaver and Fecundity as well, so those are going to be some fat heals. Skull Cannon shot, honestly, not looking bad. The Skull Cannon is going to be approaching 1,000 value here, and just shooting at Tamarkon and forcing heals, that's not bad at all. But Khorne winning on objectives, but Nurgle is going to start threatening a couple points. 2 Horsemen and Oxbringer plus the Pestigors on the far side. Maybe going to be changing the paradigm of the game. Snickerdoodle is up in value now, as we do see the Skull Cannon here getting taken apart. Currently, we do see it at negative leadership, which is very precarious because it is a demon, so it's going to crumble really, really badly. And it's wavering, just barely hanging in there. Tamarkon is going to be coming in. The Big Daddy has arrived, and the Toad Dragon is ready to feast. I wanted to get a Toad Dragon for my tabletop army for Nurgle, but the problem is that the Toad Dragon model from old Warhammer is too wide to fit on the base for the Chaos Dragon model for Warhammer the Old World. So it's like, it doesn't quite work. You'd have to like house rule it, and I like to play in tournaments and stuff, so wouldn't be the best. But yeah, Tamarkon's going to be raid bossing it. We do see objective number 2 going to Nurgle, objective 3 as well. They're really getting their clutches. And the thing is, Noxbringer's still alive with a fair amount of ammunition. It should be using its ammo right now for sure to go after the Bloodwake Berserkers. But yeah, very clinical play from both players. It's been fun. Loving the Curse of the Leper on the Angels of Decay to defeat the Furies, and obviously Tamarkon is extremely good. I wouldn't say like uber powerful, but in the Khorne matchup, he's quite a difference maker. He's gotten 2,100 value, still has a lot of fight left in him, of course, but Skulltaker's a raid boss, man. Even in his stupid chariot, he's like fighting giant monsters. And the Bloodwake Berserkers are still on the menu, and that can be tricky. Honestly, if I were Nurgle in this situation, seeing how powerful and kind of sat down Khorne is on this objective, I would just run away with Tamarkon, like flee this way and just start playing objectives 2 and 1. The points are close enough that Nurgle can still win on 2, so I think that would be the correct play. All right, so Tamarkon's going to be retreating, and the Pestigors are going to get broken right now. Nurgle's going to be sitting on the other 2 objectives, and you also want to get a heal off on Tamarkon before the fire kicks in. If a fire unit catches him, then it's going to mitigate his healing, but if you get it while he's not on fire here, he's going to get the maximum heal, and honestly, his heal cap's still like around 80%, so that's pretty jacked. All right, I like that. Curse of the Slug, fire shot coming in, and now he's on fire at the very tail end of the heal, so that's very good. Noxbringer going to be shooting into the Bloodwake Berserkers, and Tammy is going to be charging in, getting an epic charge into the Marauders. Not sure if it's worth that, the damage he's potentially going to be taking from Skulltaker, but maybe it is actually with the debuff there. All right, so throwing axes have gotten in on the Bloodwake Berserkers, and it looks like Khorne is going to be calling out their own throwing axes. So this is where the Noxbringer needs to switch onto the man. It's like Snickerdoodle, so on point with the plays. Like every time I'm like, he needs to do this, he just switches onto it, makes the correct play. It's very, very impressive, honestly. Noxbringer shooting into those guys. The ammunition is getting drained. Noxbringer, though, needs to flee the scene, though, if his opponent decides to focus fire. Could probably kill the Noxbringer here with the 2 Horsemen, potentially. Although the Angels of Decay are coming in to maybe charge. We'll have to see how that goes. Tamarkon attacking into the Exalted Hero, which is on foot, and oh boy, he just got ate by that. He just got ate by that Toad Dragon. Damn nature. I mean, hey, look, technically this thing is still nature. It's a giant toad beast, so it's just trying its best here. But we do see Khorne threatening the objective with the Bloodwake Berserkers, but Nurgle does have the value lead. And with their healing taken into account, the value lead's even bigger. But they're using their superior numbers on the battlefield that they've earned through the combat attrition to take control of the objective. So this objective here is going to be going to Nurgle most likely. And nice pick here, though. The Noxbringer potentially going to be taken down by Skulltaker and the Bloodwake Berserkers. But I think it's going to be a classic case of Nurgle kiting out the Bloodwake Berserkers, just kind of tar pitting them and running away. Tamracon's still super healthy. He's gotten 2,600 value right here, and the Noxbringer is going to be getting afflicted by the Bloody Onslaught of the Skulltaker and is going to be getting worn down. So -3 right there. And yeah, down goes Noxbringer. Man, Skulltaker is such a good character. He's so freaking powerful here in the fight. Looks like there's going to be a Curse of the Leper. Beautiful play right there. If you put Curse of the Leper on an infantry unit and send it into Bloodwake Berserkers, they're going to do a shitload of damage to themselves, assuming they're attacking it, which I think they are. Yeah, they're kind of attacking, but they're a little bit staggered up on something else, but that is exactly what you want to be doing with Curse of the Leper. So unsummoning the Angels of Decay, a little bit of unsummoned housekeeping from both players here. As we get back into the fight, we do see Nurgle has the advantage of the Horsemen. Middle point is being contested, but Nurgle's still kind of holding on to it. A couple Chosen coming across. All right, Chosen one. You guys remember that from the Kung Pao Enter the Fist? All right, let's go. So Chosen and Nurgle heading to the middle objective, but immediately seeing Bloodwake Berserkers, you're like, you know what? Us Nurgleites are going to be a little bit more tactical. We're going to head over towards Objective 1 and see if we can get cooking over there. Marauder, Horsemen of Nurgle in good shape. Tamracon's going to be coming. Tamracon, with a little bit of support, should be able to finish off the Bloodwake Berserkers at this point. Chosen heading back to the outside objective, going to be securing that one. Easy double cap victory for Nurgle right now. They can win just by playing the 2 objectives, and it looks like the Sorcerer of Nurgle maybe going to get caught and surrounded here by the Horsemen, which is very good. Here comes Tammy, and reinforcing Nurgle units are going to be Marauders, and let's look at the reinforcements for both players. So Marauders were the last call in. Khorne going to be calling in Marauders here, which are going to have 0 chances against these Chosen. And Tamracon getting a little bit low. Yeah. Oh, the throwing axes. Yeah, so the Khornate throwing axes with the fire damage. Not that he's weak to fire or anything, but they just have high AP values and can do a lot. And when a unit is exhausted, you can see its damage or its armor is going to be a little bit lower as well. So he's going to be suffering the Troll Toll here. And honestly, this could be an avenue back for Khorne. It's still going to be very, very tight. But yeah, killing Tamracon 100% gives Khorne a massive chance at coming back here. So Tammy is going to go down. The Feast of the Maggot Lord is activated and does do some respectable damage against Skulltaker. So you can see he just dropped like almost 1,000 HP right there. That ability is really, really nasty. And Tammy might survive. Yeah, Skulltaker did get attacked by the Parasite. And Tamracon is going to be running away. I mean, just trying to keep him alive would be huge. If he could just go sit in the edge of the map and force something to go back there to get him, that'd be quite massive. But I think the throwing axe is going to get him, and Tamracon is going to go down, but not before he does a shit ton of damage against Skulltaker here. But Skulltaker is still cackling pretty good. So Plague Ogre's on the way in. Really, really nice play by Khorne player to get back in the game. It is a triple cap, though, for Nurgle right now. So they have all 3, but those are the plays that dreams are made of right there, you know? And Skulltaker still, not Skulltaker, but the Bloodwake Berserkers are still very much alive. They're going to be rocking 1,000 value with plenty more to come. So Plague Ogre is heading over to the side objective with the remnants of the Marauders. Nurgle Furies are on their way, and the Nurgle Sorcerer is getting harried down and run down by Fleshhound. So really, really good play there by Walnuts. Good map awareness to make sure to finish off his prey. But Nurgle is, yeah, they probably just win this on points, right? Khorne coming across with double Marauder. They got 2 of those bad boys heading there. They might be able to get it. Nurgle's going to be responding with a Marauder of their own. In the middle, Chosen of Nurgle are battling Bloodwake Berserkers, which they should be able to win that with the current health of the Bloodwake Berserkers. Although with the Marauder Horsemen on their tail, maybe it's going to be harder because they're not really focusing on the target they want to be focusing on. They're kind of in a big pit fight there. But yeah, that Nurgle Chosen unit should win. All right, Objective Uno belongs to Nurgle, Objective Dos and Trace belongs to Nurgle as well. Pulling up on the backside, Marauders and Marauders. Both players obviously know the importance of objectives at this point. Nurgle does have a little bit of killing power left between the Chosen in the middle and the Plague Ogres. That's pretty big, but man, yeah, Skulltaker is such a good anti-infantry character. Probably going to help beat these Chosen, honestly. I mean, normally the Chosen would have won that, but Skulltaker is such a powerful AP anti-infantry character. Anti-everything, basically. And Plague Ogres, yeah, same boat for them. They are designed to kill big targets, but they still have big great weapons, so they can do some big royal bonking on the head of these Wrathmongers. Wrathmongers are hanging in there like champs. Nurgle going to be rushing the objectives, and Nurgle does have some Pestigores and Chaos Warriors coming up. Nope, looks like just Chaos Warriors. And this is going to be a tight one. So this is a triple cap situation for Khorne. Khorne's going to need to get all 3 objectives to win this game. Plague Ogres are hunting down Skulltaker, trying to keep him honest, allowing the Chosen to really shine here and do the heavy lifting as they approach about 900 value. These guys sitting at about 1,400, so they haven't quite paid for themselves. Wrathmongers are really strong, but they've come into a decent position, I think. Furies being used. You could use the Marauders in the front and then Furies in the back to try and break these 2 Marauder units, but it looks like that point straight up is just going to be lost. So at this point, you would want to take these Marauders and run them to the middle. There's no point in having them fight over here. You're just giving your opponent a free unit basically with the 2v1, but it's not the worst play. I mean, the thing is they are going to occupy 2 units for a long time. They are going to occupy 2 Marauders, but both plays are certainly viable. Bloodwake Berserkers are going down here, and the outside objective is going to be taken by the Khorne Dog, so he is going. And Chaos Furies may be coming over to try and help, but they're not going to be able to provide any capture weight. Now Nurgle is just going to be making a Helm's Deep in the middle, which totally viable for them. I mean, just get whatever speed you can. Marauders head to the middle point, fighting out here Just finish off those damn berserkers. There's one Bloodwake berserker in there, an absolute Chad. Look at this man going, getting the big great axes, dude. He's like he deserves to be promoted. I mean, for that epic finale right there for the Blood God, yeah, he did that well. All right, Plague Ogres don't want to fight into the Khorne Gores, that's for damn sure. Definitely just get the Chosen back on the middle point. You know, you can keep the fighting over here for a little bit longer if you want to. And those Marauders are holding those guys at bay, but oh man, is he going to be able to get that middle point? Nurgle needs to call in Horsemen, whatever speedy units it can. Pestigore is going to be rotating to the middle as the Chosen of Nurgle going to be forming up ranks. Glorious fight as they move through the Ogres and are going to be getting their big beating axes. So the Grey Opens are here, and the Khorne Gores do have okay AP. But, yeah, they're still going to have a hard time versus the high melee defense Chosen of Nurgle. Looks like Ogre's going to be moving in to help him out. There is about 60 seconds left, so 1 minute. And Khorne might actually get this. I mean, they have a lot of shit coming in. They have 10 capture weight here. They have a little bit here as well. Fury's trying to dive on these units. Ogre's going to run across and try and intercept the Hounds of the Flesh Hunt. But for the first time, you do see the capture weight come back to Nurgle. Nurgle does have 2 infantry units coming in. If they can get those units on the objective, maybe it's going to buy them enough time. But what a close, epic duel we're having here. This game is actually quite legendary. Capture weight, though, just barely in the favor of Khorne. And now arrives the Pestigores, and the capture weight does go back. And does Nurgle have any opportunities on the other points? Nope, not really. So everything is just all in here in the middle. But Nurgle's going to be getting the capture weight in. I think just barely slipping in the Marauders and the Pestigores here. And the Chosen holding back these Khorne Gores is quite massive, actually. That's going to be 20 seconds here, and I just think Khorne isn't going to have the mojo to get this objective. So Skulltaker's going to head over here. Horsemen coming in on the other side as well. And ladies and gentlemen of the old world, what a great battle here, but I just don't think Khorne's going to have the momentum. Plague Ogre is able to fend off the Hounds. A couple Nurgle infantry did arrive, and that was an excellent back and forth game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one as much as I did. GG, well played. Big shout out to Walnuts for sending in. We're going to call him Polly Walnuts for now. Great Sopranos character, for sending in a replay. Not only an epic one, but one that he also lost. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, Wrathmongers, not Wrathmongers, but the Slaughter Guard did okay. Horseman got a shit ton of value. Skulltaker, 3,100 value. And yeah, let's see how everything else did. Wrathmongers only got 1,500. Nothing nuts. Cannon did fine. Tamarcon was a beast, though. 3,400 on Tammy. Throwing Axes did good. Noxbringer was able to control the early game. Great Opens also didn't do badly. And Angels of Decay with 3,600. God damn. Yeah, let's go see how similar this build is. So, okay, 2 Great Opens, and then these guys. I think his build's a little bit different than mine. Let's go check here. So Skirmish, and we're going to go to Nurgle. I have two builds versus Khorne. One uses a Great Unclean one, and one uses the Tamarcon. Yeah, so this is mine. I use Nurglings, and instead of 2 Warriors, I use Chosen. I mix in the Rotting Riders. Although I didn't bring Angels of Decay in my build, but his gameplay there kind of like inspires me a little bit. I'm like, ooh, would the freaking Angels of Decay actually be like an MLG pick? I think I've tried them before and haven't been happy about it. I don't know what the situation was, but yeah, pretty similar in terms of functionality. Pestigores, Furies. I do use Rotting Riders for the late game to come in and try and sweep stuff up, but he basically used the Angels, and I would have used Rotting Riders. Don't know what the better call is. Honestly, his Angels getting like 3,000 value kind of makes a really good case for them, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to evaluate that. GG, well played, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that one.